podcasters out there in indie pod land. I am Super Joe Pardo, and I'm here for Free Ride Friday. What's up? Yeah, it's a Free Ride Friday here, where we will be giving away one giving away one month pass to the Super Circle as part of the Supercharge Your Podcast program. Sorry, I can't think. It was a long night, late night, not great. So anyway, good morning. Pop in the chat where you're listening from, what you're up to this morning, what kind of beverage you're partaking in on this Free Ride Friday. Let's see. Today, I am looking forward to recapping the week, talking about what what's going on, what to look forward to, and what your questions are that have been circling around in your mind for this week. But first, let's see. I got to talk about Supercharge Your Podcast. So today is Free Ride Friday. We're giving away a free ride for 1 month into the Supercharge Your Podcast program, where you can build a stronger community, make more money, and ultimately turn your podcast into your business. So let's see. There's that, and tomorrow is Automate Your Podcast. It's free, it's live, it's virtual, it's a conference. It's going to be interactive all day long. Looking forward to it. Oh, Benjamin's having some Wawa iced coffee. That's awesome, man. A lot of people love their Wawa. Good morning, Springfield, Massachusetts. Coffee all the way. And I got super claps in the chat. If you guys could go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and approve it so I can see who the Facebook user is, so we can see your face and who's saying that over in the chat. Let's see here. I'm gonna make. Oh, it doesn't let me make that announcement. Weird. Oh, okay. It's so let's see. Kristen good morning, Kristen. Good morning, Ben. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna be all live from, I think it's 10:30 a.m. to about 3 p.m. tomorrow here in the IndiePod community. You can go to indiepodcasters.com/virtual to watch it as well. So there's that option if you don't want to watch it on Facebook all day. Also, if you haven't heard, Icon 6 is live from the backyard, happening September 12th outside of Philadelphia. Assuming things don't continue to we'll know for certain probably by the end of this month, I would think, if it's going to look like it will happen as a 50 live in-person event or not. We'll find out hopefully soon. But the tickets are refundable. Only 50 tickets available. A handful of them have already sold. So if you live in the area of Philadelphia or want to drive to the area of Philadelphia, then you should totally come on down and hang out with us. We'll be doing talks, and we'll be live streaming it, so you can buy a live stream ticket if you can't make it. So today on Free Ride Friday, I'm answering your podcasting questions. So what's going on this week? What questions have popped up in your mind? What's making things like, oh no, is there an easier way to do this? Is there and look, I don't know all the answers, but I know how to share my screen, and I know how to look up the answers and get answers, and if not, bring somebody else on who can help figure this out for you. So yeah, so this Free Ride Friday, I also want to talk about this past week. So this past week we had let's see. Yesterday we had Sam Sprunger on. If you haven't watched that episode, it's all about growing your listenership. He, has the show. Doesn't feel like he has a lot of traction. He's been doing it for about a year, but definitely feels like he's getting more traction in the last 3 months than he has in the first 6 months that he's been doing it. And it just feels like he's moving in the right direction, but he just needed a hand. He just needed a hand figuring some things out. So we went through the process of figuring out what. Was it? We recapped him creating a subtitle for his show, a shorter domain name, and enabling him to tell people about his show, what it is, and if it's for them, and then decide like, oh, I can actually get to where that show is. How awesome is that? Let's see. Chris says we get a ton of feedback about how excited people are about our show, but our numbers aren't growing. Oh man, that definitely, sometimes it can definitely feel that way. And thanks for going to the streamyard.com/Facebook to get your picture and name up there so I can see it easier. That has so is the feedback coming from the same people? Is that where it's coming from? Like it always seems like, hey, there's like these dedicated like 10 15 people, maybe 20 people. They're highly engaged. They keep giving feedback. They love the show. But maybe they're not sharing it, right? They're not going and telling people about it. I mean, that was one of the suggestions that I gave to the people, or to Sam yesterday, was hey, are you asking people to share it with other people, like giving that word of mouth opportunity for growth? Kristen says it seems to come from new potential listeners. Oh wow, okay. What kind of feedback are they giving? Is it positive feedback, or like, I never listened to your show, but now I'm going to come in and tell you how I think it should be, how you should be doing it because so and so does their show like that, and that's what I want to hear. And it's like, is that the kind of stuff that you're experiencing? Uh, to recap yesterday with Sam Sprunger, what else did we go over? The website, the website was fine, but shorter domain name, the coming up with a subtitle so people understood what like the 500 sections supposed to mean. Now we didn't finalize what that looks like, but what we did was I gave him a whole bunch of words and things to chew on and think it through. Chris says they say they love the show idea and would love to listen. Not sure how to get them to fully engage. Okay, all right. What's the name? What's the name of the show? And what's the topic of the show, Kristen? In the meantime, yeah. So it was a great. I think we went like an hour and 15 minutes yesterday on Facebook on Training Thursday, which was awesome. And yeah, I would I was it was I think it was a really successful thing for him. I think he's going to have a lot to chew on and learn to grow from. And then on Wednesday, we talked to Nate Bailey about his interview process and how you can become a better interviewer. It was a great talk. Great things, especially if you're newer to podcasting, like getting some of those great tips that both him and I both dished out in that episode on Wisdom Wednesday. And on Tuesday, we talked about the Rode Video Micro and how that is my like second favorite microphone, because it's probably my third favorite microphone, because the ATR 2100 is my second favorite microphone and this would be my third. And how much I love it. It's this little furry thing up top here, for how small it is, how like directional it is, and how low the noise floor is on it, and just overall how much I enjoyed it. So yeah, what was it? And then on Monday what did we talk about on Monday? Oh, that was right. It was try new things. So, leading up to this weekend, talking about automating your podcast, and I wanted to get you in that mind frame of like be open to trying new things and all that. So, that was definitely fun to talk about. Now, Kristen, I assume you're writing right now, so I'm still waiting to hear back from you. But if you watching have a question, oh, there you go. If you have a question, pop it in the chat in the Facebook chat, so I can see it and bring it up, and we can talk about it. And if it's a technical question, like, I can share my screen. It's not a big deal. We will figure it out. So Kristen says, what's special about special? We connect with people in the special needs and disabilities community and speak with them about what resources they have and how they what resources they have and how they got connected with the community. Example, a smart cane developer. Okay. Well, that's all right, all right. So let me see here. Is maybe part of the problem that they don't use it, like, are they not used to listening to podcasts yet? Is that part of the thing? Or because like I remember when I was just getting started back in 2014, like I would literally grab my friend. They'll be like, "Hey, give me your phone. We're gonna download," because the podcast app wasn't on the iPhone yet, and Google wasn't that serious about it either. And you had to have a podcast app. It was like I grabbed their phone and I would download the podcast app for them, and then put my show on there for them so they could easily access. Boom, podcasts. But maybe, a lot of people haven't maybe explored it. I'm not sure if that's where this is going. Because one of the other things is, like, if you don't listen to podcasts as it is, then you're probably not, like, bringing it into the fold of things that you do as part of your routine, and that could be really difficult. Because, like, I've seen it where even myself, right? Like when I have long drives, I'm more apt to, like, pick up my phone, download a couple of podcasts, so I'm not streaming them necessarily, and bam, now I'm listening to those podcasts on that long drive. When I stopped having, a drive every day, I or at least a longer drive than like 10 minutes or so, I stopped going, the podcast stopped being my go-to thing. I would just listen to the radio, like the sports talk radio in my area, to find out what's going on with, our local Philly sports teams. So, it's one of those things where, like, once you get in that habit, it's hard to break that habit, and to get people to be excited and engaged. I mean, it starts with just like breaking it into their routine, that they're going to listen to podcasts, like, while they're getting a shower, while they're mowing the lawn, while they're doing these other, maybe while they're running, or at least walking. I know I can't listen while I'm running, but when, while they're walking, it's one of those things that you got to be able to figure out how to get them to bring it into the fold of what their routine is, and that can definitely be very difficult. So Kristen again says, "What's special about special? We connect with people in the special needs and disabilities community and speak with them about what resources they have." Um, I wonder if, partly because I mean, I'm familiar with the special needs community. One of our icons that helped, spur on this whole thing was Kathleen Kelly, who hasn't been very active lately, but she did and I'm blanking on the name, and I don't know if it's still. It was a special needs Disney podcast, and I am blank. I feel really bad. I'm blanking on the name. Oh, wait. It was Special Mouse. Um, let's see here. Yeah, so it was the Special Mouse podcast, and so she's the one that introduced me to Dave Jackson, which has been, the Dave Jackson, which has been awesome, and over the years, and it's one of those things where, um, there's an opportunity there. I almost wonder, is your podcast niched enough, right? So you're saying we connect people. We connect with people in the special needs and disabilities community and speak with them about what resources they have and how they got connected with the community. Um, so smart. So I'm gonna look up developer. So a smart cane, as in a cane for people who are visually impaired, like this cane. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Maybe I wasn't sure if you were talking about that, or like a cane that, like, it detects if it falls over, kind of thing, and it alerts somebody. But I'm guessing that it's something more along this line, but I'm not sure. So, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, this, we spoke. Kristen says yes. We spoke with We Walk this week. Oh, that's awesome. So, all right, Kristen, what's your website? What's pop your website in the comments so I can go check it out. Though, I mean, I guess I could in the meantime I could Google it and see if we can just pull it up here. What's special about special podcast? Is this it? Oh, okay. Okay. So you don't okay, so we don't really have one yet. So that definitely is okay. Something that I would look at doing so that you have a home base. Is this your Facebook page there, Kristen? Is it okay, it looks like it probably is since you like it. Yes. Okay, cool. So, so one of the, I mean, the downside to a Facebook page is that you effectively have to pay to reach your audience, right? It's cool because like you can have, it's kind of like social proof, but at the same time, like if you actually want to reach an audience out of that, you absolutely need to be paying to do so. Facebook user, says this is a great podcast idea. I know I don't disagree. So I would think that maybe what I would be looking to do is two things. And we talked about this yesterday with Sam Sprunger, right? Is look at build starting up a Facebook group because you're going to get better penetration into that that community with your posts being able people actually being able to see them interact with them, and then website is great, and then an email list, right, so that you can connect with them on a regular basis without paying Facebook to enable you to do so, because otherwise you're really just the Facebook page is a great idea, but it definitely doesn't get enough traction. I mean, I'm seeing it right here with the amount of interactions. You have 260 people that like the page, 275 people follow the page, and yet you just aren't getting that penetration in the community that you're building through the Facebook page. So congratulations, by the way, on 250 downloads. That's awesome. Definitely, it's always great to have those milestones as you build out what you're doing. But I would say getting yourself a website, even just a basic website that like has the player. Who are you hosting with, Kristen? Getting yourself a basic player or a basic website with a player on it and a way to collect emails. Like that's the bare minimum and really the simplistic. So you can send them to an easy website like that you can rattle off. You can explain exactly what the show is. Okay, use Buzzsprout. So Buzzsprout, I'm sure has a playlist player that you could like pop in the middle of a very basic website that you can put together either in Squarespace, WordPress, or I'm deciding if I'm going to sneeze. What one of those site builders, even like a Wix, like just something, and then get a domain name so it's easy for them to get to, and just make it as simple as possible for your people to be able to jump in and engage in a way that enables them to be on an email list, enables them to join the community, like make it super super simple. Um, yeah, that would be my suggestion is that, and then what's do you have like a tagline for it? Because it you know I mean obviously I get what your uh the title of the show helps. Let's see, Sam is here. I guess I'm not sure why it's not showing up as me. This is me, not an imposter picture. Sam, if you can just go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, then I'll actually be able to show up StreamYard. I thought I had a thing in here, but I can type one up. Um, your name and face in the video. Go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. I need to type Facebook right. It's early. I did not get a good night's sleep at all. So yeah, so Sam, so it is a great idea. Yeah, I just think that, let's see, sort of what's special about Special Podcast is an uncensored comedy podcast that helps bring together parents of children with special needs and disabilities and give them a community. Uncensored comedy podcast that brings together. So, question for you, Kristen. And actually, you know what? Let's do this. Are you hold on a second here. Here, Kristen, I just sent you. We need help. Oh, yeah. So you know what? This reminds me of the show Call for Help, like from the early 2000s. I'm not that I'm Leo Laporte, but apparently I can't even type a period right because I put in a comma. So how awesome is that? But I can help you with your podcast. I can help you with your podcast. So yeah, so I just sent you a message, as you can see down here. If you want to join me or can join me, or at least your voice, we could talk it out real quick here, rather than going back, because I know there's a lot of dead silence when I'm talking, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I say something to and then I gotta wait for, because I know there's a delay, and wait for you to see it and then respond and all that. And here comes Kristen. Hey, Kristen, can you hear me? Hello? 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 I cannot hear you, in case you can hear me.
Can you hear me?
Oh, now I can hear you.
Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
I don't have video
Welcome.
on this computer. How are
Oh,
you?
it's okay. It's okay. I'm great. I'm great. How about yourself? How you feeling?
Good. All right.
So, okay. So, all right. Look, breaking down what you said here. What's special about Special Podcast is an uncensored comedy podcast that helps bring together parents of children with special needs and disability. Oh, okay. So I misread that the first time because I thought it said parents and children. And I was like, well, hold on a second. You just said it's uncensored.
Everybody.
So that doesn't seem, that doesn't, make a lot of sense there. So I would say, the thing about this is it works. It just, to me, I would try to whittle it down to less words, right? The goal is always 7 words. If you get to 10, it's not terrible, but the goal is 7 words. When you're trying to explain what a show is, so that you can say it within 7 words and people get it and they're like, oh, I understand that this is for me, or I understand that this isn't for me. And because it seems like, to me, there's a lot there, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
this.
We just basically took what we used from our crowdfunding
Mhm.
pitch and then just copy pasted it. Like, we didn't do any work with it. And we knew that. We kind of got lazy after all the work from crowdfunding.
Yeah, I know crowdfunding can be detrimental to not only the actually, I know businesses that have gone under because of crowdfunding, but also because of just being worn out from everything that they didn't expect.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. Sam Sprunger says, I love the idea. I taught special education for 2 years, and there are many times that comedy works its way into that world. Yeah. So to me, like, I would try to figure out how to get this down to. I love the fact that you have put uncensored in there. And it specifically is a comedy podcast?
I mean, basically, it's an opportunity for anyone who's on the episode that week and for ourselves as well. It's not, there's a lot of like heavy conversation special needs podcasts, and that's not us. We're really there to just have fun, talk freely, be yourself. You know, we do have heavy conversations sometimes, but the bulk of our conversation is just talking about getting to know our guests, talking about who they are and how they got into the community in a really light way. Because there's so many shows out there for special needs parents or parents of children with special needs and disabilities where it's really emotionally heavy, and we did not want that. We wanted it to just be really lighthearted. So, you know, it's not like joke comedy, but you know, it's me and my husband. We banter, we bicker, we have fun with the guest. You know, we do it at night. We have a drink. There's swearing occasionally. You know, it's not like we're not super uncensored, but we want everyone to feel comfortable in the conversation.
Okay. Yeah. No,
So it's
yeah,
probably not worded perfectly. Like, I think it's probably more, the better wording is probably to be like, you know, we want everyone to come and be themselves and join our community. It's probably the better way to word it.
I mean, it's good that like I assume you have the explicit filter or the
Yes.
checkbox. Okay, good. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you can't do it by episode apparently, unless that's changed recently with Apple. Once you have like one episode that gets flagged for being, you know, explicit, the whole thing goes to explicit, and which is kind of not great, a great way about doing it. But let's see, especially because podcasting isn't usually a short-term thing. Like, oh, we ran 30 episodes and then we moved
Right.
on and created a new show, and we did 30 episodes of that show, and then we created another show like TV or something. But just like it's kind of crazy. Let's see. Sam says sprung. Sam says sprung. No, Sam Sprunger says comedy, as in those funny quirks that present themselves, and I think this would be the world. This would be the world where you can make those observations and not be judged? Question mark. Yeah,
Yes.
because I. Okay. All right. So that because the word because I think where it gets confusing is it's like when you're mixing you know, special needs with like uncensored, like and to like is it a safe space, or are we making fun of
Right.
people with special needs? I'm
Right.
not really sure.
Right.
And I think that basically just some really precise wording you know, can bring that to get like bring that all together to make a lot of sense. Like you were saying, like being a safe, you know, a safe space for uncensored conversations about special needs.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I didn't even think about it that way, but that it could give off
Yeah, because I
that
wasn't sure
energy.
either. Because when I got to your Facebook page, I think where did it? There was something, or no, when I first Googled it, um,
That's our crowdfunding page from before. That pops up
yeah,
first.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So that's why I think what was the first thing?
So we have a
Okay.
website, but it hasn't been updated since our crowdfunding. So
Oh, okay,
there's
okay,
nothing on it for the actual episodes, which so it does need to be updated.
okay. So you do have a website. What's the web
Yeah,
address?
it's just specialaboutspecial.com.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. That's
Yeah, we
easy.
we did at least get that.
Yeah. So I mean,
But it's
basically to
just a
update
landing page,
this.
really.
Yeah, I mean, but you have so is this in Squarespace or WordPress?
Yeah, it's in
Where probably
Squarespace.
Squarespace. Yeah, so I mean, I would get your Buzzsprout player. I assume there's a playlist player that shows the newest episode. Like put it,
Yep.
you know, put it front. If you know, if not here, put it here or here.
Hmm.
And then under it, put in like, hey, you know, subscribe to our newsletter and go get yourself a free AWeber account and start collecting email addresses.
That's what we'll do.
Yeah, so then you have an opportunity to be like in your show, like, hey, if you want to get more updates or whatever, like go to our webpage, or even just putting it on its own page as well, so that you can say, hey, go to specialaboutspecial.com/ news and or mail and join our mailing list. Like just make it as simple as possible, right? The path
Right.
of least resistance will get you where you want to be. Um, so yeah, definitely have a place for them to go. Uh, I was writing. I had a notepad open. So it was like a safe space for um, where's it at? Safe space for
And it doesn't, we had originally
something.
started it with parents, but really it's just anyone in the community at this point. We've kind of grown outside of just parents of children with special needs and disabilities. It seems that everyone we're interviewing is really just kind of grown to just anyone in the community, really.
Right, which is good and bad, right? Because it's harder for people to say yes, that's for me.
Right.
Because it's a generalized thing. It's not that it's impossible. It just means that get used to it taking a longer time to make a dent in that commute. You know what I mean? To building that community, because you're trying to find the right people that are like okay with uncensored stuff, and the thought of um like it, getting past the whole like is this okay, is this okay for
Mm-hmm.
me, and then the other problem is with anything that's uncensored, right, becomes a problem because now I technically can't listen to it in my car while I'm driving my
Right.
kids, right?
Right.
So that becomes another hurdle as well of getting that message in front of people, because like, oh well, normally when I'm driving I got my kids in the car.
Right.
Okay, cool. That means I'm not listening to an uncensored podcast.
Yep.
And maybe you think about not censoring it, but just like beeping it, like editing it in post, like beeping it out. So it's not
Yeah.
you're censoring it, but you're not just completely taking out you know what I mean? Like it's obvious that you're saying something bad. You're just not blurting it into the
Right.
void.
Yep.
Um, let's see. Sam says, I think it could allow those not around the special needs children to be enlightened of how the parents deal with things or why they decide to parent the way they do. Um, what do you think of that?
Yeah, just like if they're listening, I'm assuming Sam means like if someone's listening to our episode that may not be in our community, it's really enlightening them as to how our world, what our intention is. We originally were hoping that this would do exactly that. It would grow the community outside of just the special needs parents or special needs world to kind of help more inclusion and more, and bring it to the whole world. We're learning every day that that's what the world needs. And I mean, it's the largest minority, so it definitely needs to be opened up a little bit. But yes, listeners, exactly. Um, so that's the hope. So that when we see such low numbers, we're like, oh, even our own community is not listening, so it makes it difficult. But I think we knew we were just missing a couple links, and we were just trying to figure out what that was.
Yeah, yeah. I think a more concise like explanation that's shorter and again 7 words, so you could post it with when you post the show, like what's special about special. An uncensored podcast, or a safe space for uncensored conversation with and I I like the idea of the parents of children with special needs, right? Like I think that's great. I think there's probably is a lot of podcasts already, but I feel like there's always room for there's always room for more conversation, room for more opinions and more perspectives in almost any topic, right?
Right.
So I would look just try to make that concise, more about the show, and maybe not so much about the community, because like
Yep.
that comes because of the show. Um, yeah. So
Yeah.
and I would definitely start a Facebook group. Start a Facebook group,
Yep.
get people in there so you can actually reach them with the message that you're hitting. And then personally I would take a look at beeping out any obscene words, just so that
Yep.
it makes And obviously it takes more time to edit, but the way, the secret to editing that kind of stuff is write down the timestamps
Yep.
of when people curse and then edit backwards so it
Okay.
doesn't collapse on itself, so all the timestamps move. But that way you can easily, like, oh, somebody said something, just write where you are, what time you're in there, and then edit it backwards, and you'll save so much time rather than trying to go through everything and like, oh, I missed a word, like,
Right,
or
right.
something to that effect. It's just a thought. You don't have to do it, but
Yeah, no. No. I mean, I like the idea of, letting people, and honestly, the first few episodes, it was more obvious, where we were working out the kinks, so we would heavy talk and realize we had to let our guests talk more. But then
mm,
as the episodes went on, the content became more important and there was a lot less of that, just because we were getting more into the content or more into the resource, and then it was less of just, there were more just like jokes in there and less worrying about making it funny or putting anything in there that was our personality, because it would just come out in the content and the conversation. So it might not even
mm.
be a necessary thing to say, oh, we have this uncensored podcast. Like if we do, we do. It just is, I think, at that point.
Yeah, I mean, or maybe using the words like either light or heavy, depending on how you want to describe it. Something that kind of describes the fact that you're you're talking about serious topics that sometimes can be light. I like the comedy part makes sense. But it just I don't know. I just had to figure out how it fits in the seven, like in your 7 words, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
all. That's
yeah.
you just have to figure out, like, because like in this case, it really throws you off because like as soon as I saw uncensored comedy podcast and special needs, I'm like,
It's
oh,
too
this
much.
this this can't be it. There's no way. There's no way. Like I'm hoping, I must be clicking on the wrong thing, and and
No,
then I'm
that
like, oh,
makes
nope, nope,
sense.
I am clicking on the right thing. Okay, so and that, like I said, that can make people uncomfortable and harder to listen to when you're just like, oh, I'm gonna put it on and do some things around the house, like, oh, well, if there's
Yeah.
kids, obviously if they're parents of children, like they, if
Well,
that's
I
your
don't want to
goal,
make it harder for us to get guests either by
yeah,
turning them
because
off in a way of, they see that and then they're like, oh, maybe I don't want to guest on this because of that or something like that.
yep, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, so there you go.
Awesome.
Work on that. Get yourself an email list. Get yourself a Facebook group, and you should start to be off to the races. Ask people to go and join the Facebook group. Create a short link to get them in the Facebook group. So like in our case, it's facebook.com, or not facebook.com. It's indiepodcasters.com/group. So like we have our own short, and I'm sure Squarespace has a way to shorten outside links, but you know that's so you go there, it drops you right into the group, and then you can invite yourself to the group.
Perfect.
So yeah,
All right.
so
Well, we'll get to work.
yeah. I'm excited. A big thing. I see you raised over what, $3,207. That's awesome.
We did, yeah.
45 funders. I mean, that's great. I mean, a lot of people are lucky to have any kind of funding starting their podcast. So I love that. That's awesome.
Well, thanks. Thank
You're
you for your
welcome.
help.
Of course, of course. So that's what I'm here to do on Free Ride Friday, as well as answer any questions and stuff like that. And I mean, normally I would have told you to just come in on a training Thursday, but you're here. We're talking. I'm here for another 20 minutes or so. So was there any other questions you had, technical questions or anything like that?
No, not today. Every day's something new. We're still learning.
Hey, we're all still learning, right? I'm still learning too, and that's part of the journey. Is there's always, especially because this is a technology field, right? And technology is
Yeah.
always advancing. Oh, someone's always dreaming up something new and a new way of doing it. And if you want to get involved, like you have to be willing to learn constantly. Because like look, Google algorithm changes like every couple of months to every year, right? It's every
Yeah.
6 months. So it's one of those things. Facebook is constantly changing what people are seeing, reacting, and all that. So it's just you gotta be willing to learn and roll with the punches and not be above the learning opportunities that are in front of you.
Yeah, we're trying. We're working on it. We
No,
we
I
use
love
all the
it.
community every time we need something. It's helpful.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Yeah, don't never feel shy to ask questions in the indie pod community. We're all here to help each other. That's what we're here for, and I'm just here to help lead that charge. So yeah.
Awesome.
So anything else I can do for you, Kristen?
No, I think that was it.
Awesome, awesome,
Thank
awesome. Well,
you.
you're welcome. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you. Take care. So yeah, so that's I can we can do that for lots of people here. If you want to join a training Thursday, I don't know if I have the link to scroll down at the bottom, but it's indiepodcasters.com/TT if you want one-on-one, a 1 hour totally free, work session to work on your podcast with me, Super Joe Pardo, and it's fun. I totally enjoy it. I hope that the way you have to think about it is if the help that I give Kristen, the help I give Sam Spronger, the help I give this person, that person, the impact that can have is incredible, right? It doesn't, to me, it doesn't have to just be about how many individuals I'm like touching the lives of or touching the podcast of and helping, but the fact of the matter is, like, you guys and you ladies are all leaders, right? So if you're leading your communities, then like that's how you're going to get to that level of like, hey, am I able to am I able to grow my audience in this? Okay, so you do it, and then you all of a sudden your audience starts to grow bigger. So it's like that impact that I gave you is now impacting more people's lives, and that is the chain reaction effect that I absolutely do this for and love and honored to get to be a part of. So. And as part of that, let's see, building my own group now. Woohoo! Way to go, Sam. Yeah, you totally should. Now it's not the end all be all answer to everything, right? I mean, it's hard because when you do a Facebook group, you have to be involved with it. You have to be in the conversation. One of the ways, excuse me, the way that I've chosen to do that for this, for the indie pod community is me going live every single day of the week. So much so that, like, here's my Trello, right? Figuring out, like, what am I going to talk about? What part of the process I'm in and all of that. So let's see. Sam says, so I have a quick question about making a group page. It says it's a start. What's the question, Sam? Ask the question. Don't be shy. That's what we're here to do. We're here on Free Ride Friday to answer the questions, all of the questions, if we can. What's your excuse me? What's your question, Sam? And in the meantime, yeah, so explaining, like, okay, so I go live in the Indie Pod group daily because to me it's easy. I get to come on the camera, I get to show you my face, I get to show you my studio, I get to answer questions, I get to talk about different tech and stuff in a way that doesn't require me to invest an hour of video editing after the fact or anything like that. Like, just get in, do the thing, help the people, and move on to the next thing. Let's see. Sam says, you said to add questions for those who become members. Where do I put those in? That's a good question. So if you go to, let me see here. I think it's going to be under here. So, okay. So I'm going to open up this, right here, and we're going to go edit group settings. Maybe not. Okay, there you go. Membership request, ask questions. Bam, there's your questions. I want to get their email address, but it's just telling me to create. I don't know. I just add, like, what is your email address? No spam, just updates from the community. Yeah, that's so yeah, so that's once you have the community created, just go to more, edit group settings. and then scroll down to ask questions under membership requests. So yeah, so that's how you do that. Wish I had done that a lot sooner. So I need to create the page first. You need to create the group first. Yes. Yeah, create the group first, and then you should be able to go and do that. So part of part of the part of having a community though is also like setting up the rules and like what people can and can't do. Good, awesome, Sam. Glad to help. Is what you can and can't do, and it definitely gets kind of tricky because you run into posts that you're like, I don't know. Like we have a no spam rule, but sometimes I look the other way, and sometimes I don't look the other way, and it's tricky, right? I think for the most part, you really need to be, no, that thanks, Sam. I appreciate being the aces. I think for the most part, you have to try to be fair in the sense of like keeping the rules, keeping the keeping it open for people to and explaining. If you remove a post, I would definitely reach out, give them an explanation because like it can go sideways real quick if people feel like you're just not following the rules. You're just removing posts without like any kind of reason or anything like that. So definitely give it some thought about the rules that you're going to incorporate into your group. Anyway, let's see. So I didn't realize I actually started a little bit later because for some reason Facebook deleted my go live post in the group. So let me do the Free Ride Friday real quick here because I'm gonna have to make my way to the door for a meeting. Let me see here. I'm going to just scroll down real quick the list of people who liked the Facebook page. And this, again, is to get 1 month of a free ride to the Supercharger Podcast program. See all. So let's just put on free scroll. All right. That is... let's see, Ashley Formato, you're getting a free ride 1 month into the Indie Pod, or not into the Indie Pod, into the Supercharger podcast program. Looking forward to having you there. I'll be reaching out to you in a little bit. All right, everybody, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see you tomorrow for the Automate Your Podcast Free Live Virtual Conference. Thank you for joining me as always. I look forward to tomorrow. It's gonna be fun. Go to indiepodcasters.com/virtual. If you want to get a free ride, go to facebook.com/indiepodcon and click the like button. And I will be picking somebody next Friday on Free Ride Friday. Oh, Sam says another question. I hate hijacking your time, but it is asking to add people when I'm creating this group. Should I wait until I've created to add people? Yeah, I would fill out all the stuff, like get your banner image, your top I don't know, whatever they call it. What do they call it? The group cover image up there. And yeah, once you have that and you have your description all written out and everything, then I feel like you should be in a good place to start inviting people. I mean, you can invite some people now if you know those people well enough, but yeah, definitely do that. And then this episode is brought to you by Supercharge Your Podcast. Turn your podcast into your business. Go and build a stronger community, make more money, and gain more notoriety. Go to superchargeyourpodcast.com today and go check it out and join, because the price is going up on Friday. So, or not Friday. I think it's Sunday or next Sunday. I don't know. There's a counter on there to tell us shit. So if you want to get more resources for turning your podcast into your business, go check that out, superchargeyourpodcast.com. Also check out IndiePod University, which if you join Supercharge Your Podcast, you get access to IndiePod U. That price is going up, I believe, on Sunday at night at 8 p.m. So if you want to get locked in on a monthly price of $9.99 before the price goes up, absolutely go check out indiepodu.com. All right, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you tomorrow for Social Saturday, where we will share one of our social media posts, or not posts, our social media accounts into the group. Looking forward to it. I'll see you tomorrow for the Automate Your Podcast at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, right here in the IndiePod community. Go to indiepodcasters.com/virtual. Everyone, remember that you are a podcaster and you are a leader because of that. And as a leader, please lead with love. Take care, everybody.